If you're here, you want to build your first AI agent. So in this mini module, I'm going to show you how to build your first AI agent in under 30 minutes. But before we do that, I'm going to show you the general structure of an AI agent and how we're going to break it down into simple steps. And we're going to build our first AI agent, which is going to be an email agent. So before we get into what this email agent looks like, this is the general overview of an AI agent. It has the trigger, it has the AI agent itself, and the output. Now, the trigger is what kicks off your agent. This is the start step of what kicks off your AI agent. Whether this is an incoming email, a message you send the agent, it is really just the starting point that your agent is going to take in and then start doing the tasks that it's assigned or that you give it. The next component is the AI agent itself. So in n8n, there is an AI agent node, and I'm going to show you that in the next 2 videos. But it's essentially the worker that processes your request, the data, anything that's coming into the trigger point. And this AI agent has 2 subcomponents. It has the brain, the AI model that does the thinking. So you can think of OpenAI, Gemini, Claude, DeepSeek, and there's many more models out there. But this is essentially the LLM, the brains of the agent. It's what does all the thinking and processing. Now the agent's also linked up with tools. I consider these like the extra hands of the agent. It's either, if you have extra hands, you can do more things, but without hands, you can't do as much. So here in this example down here, we have 3 different random tools I've just assigned. So you have the trigger that kicks off the AI agent, and then you have these 4 branches in this case. Sometimes your agent will have 1 tool, sometimes your agent will have 20 tools. But the brain is always there, and you usually want to have a tool for your agent's a little useful, and it can do something. So these are the hands, these are the brains, this is the trigger, the starting step, and the last component of an AI agent is the output, how your agent delivers the result. So in some cases, the output would be an email that you want sent out. So the AI agent's job is to craft the reply to the email. Sometimes it's a ping on Slack saying, hey, I've done the task that you wanted me to do. Update a document, pretty much anything you want the agent to do at the end of the day, the output is always the last step. You need a close. So what does this mean for the agent we're going to learn to build in this course? So here, I've basically taken the template above and I've populated it for an email AI agent that we're going to walk through and build. You have the first step, which is a chat trigger. We're going to message the agent, hey, I want you to send this email, or hey, I want you to reply to my last email. The agent is then going to take that request, use its brain to figure out what to do, and then it's going to take these 3 tools. Either it's going to get your emails, so this you can consider that reading all the emails in Gmail in this case. It's going to then either send an email reply that you want it to give, or it's going to send an email, which is just a brand new email, and then there's a reply to emails tool. These are very similar. In our brains, we think, hey, replying to an email and sending emails is almost the same thing, but for agents are dumb if they're not explicitly told what to do. So you do need to give it a reply to emails tool if you want it to reply to old emails or emails that came in. But if you want to send fresh new emails, there's a different tool for that, which is the send emails tool. And then lastly, we are going to get the final output, which is confirmation that it sent the email or it replied to the email in our case. So this is a quick, simple breakdown of the email agent we're going to build, but this applies for any agent you want to build. You can pretty much break it down into these 3 simple steps. What's the input? What does the agent need to accomplish its goal that was given in the input? And then what is the final output you want? When you're thinking about an agent you want to build for yourself or for a client, I would break it down into these steps. Now, I'm using a software called Whimsical. This is not a plug. In the beginning, I was using the Notes app, Word, Google Docs, anything free to just jot down my starting steps, the trigger, what I want the AI agent to do and have access to in terms of tools, and then the output. What is the last thing I want it to do, say, or confirm? If you break the AI agent that you want to build into these steps, you're going to be able to build anything. And oftentimes, if you really don't if you're not in the right space to plan out the agent, use ChatGPT. I would type out a paragraph of what you want this AI agent to do from start to finish. And it doesn't have to be broken down like this. And then just simply ask ChatGPT, hey, break this down so I can build this in n8n. What would the trigger be? What would the AI agent tools need to be? And what would be the final output? And you're going to very quickly get a well-structured response. That's going to be basically your process map or your building map to create your AI agent. So now that we have our kind of roadmap of what this AI agent is going to do, we're going to talk about setting up the credentials and getting these tools set up before we start building the agent. So we're going to need to set up the OpenAI API, and I'm going to show you how to do that. we're going to need to then get access to our Gmail. So any Gmail account you want to give the agent access to, we're going to need to do that too. And those can be done in under 5 minutes. So before we can do anything, we got to go and set up an n8n account. And n8n has a really nice pricing program. We are not affiliated, but if you go over to pricing here, and I'll link you all of this, they have monthly plans, annual plans. Honestly, when you're first starting out, they give you a 2-week free trial, which is really nice. I would take advantage of this free trial as much as possible. In 2 weeks, you can build as 3, 4, 5, 6 different agents and really understand if this is something you want to keep doing or not keep doing. So I don't encourage you paying off the bat. Start a free trial, please, and just start playing around with an AI agent. See if this is something you want to do. See if this is something you don't want to do. But when you start your free account and doesn't require any credit cards too, so they're not going to lock you in, which is also really nice. When you log in, this is going to be blank for you, but it's going to look very similar to this. This is your homepage. And to get started for building our email agent, we're going to create a new workflow. There's a lot of things in here, but really don't worry about all of this stuff. I'll explain this all later in the n8n Masterclass, but really to get started, we are going to go and just create our first workflow. And if you remember when we talked back about triggers, steps, our first trigger here, and I'm going to rename this email agent, since this is the agent we're trying to build. I'm going to move myself over, and it's a very simple playground. This is basically a drag and drop builder where you can drag and start building your AI agent. So if you remember back when we were talking on the start of every AI agent, you need a trigger. And this is how you add your first trigger step, this plus. So add first step, you're gonna click this and you're gonna get a panel of triggers available. Don't worry about most of these. For our purpose, we wanna chat with our agent. So we're gonna do an on chat message and it's set up. So our trigger is set up, this panel opens. This is your canvas, they call it, but really don't need to do anything besides this. You can click back out of this like dark gray form to your workflow and you have your agent. Or you have your trigger, not your agent. We have a couple steps to get there. A couple things you need to know is the save button. It doesn't auto save. If you do try and click away, it's going to say, hey, are you sure you want to just save beforehand? Just save. There is some version histories, but that's with more advanced tiers. Save your workflows, otherwise you're going to lose all your progress. So now that we have our chat trigger set up, we are going to start building the agent. It's actually quite simple and quite easy to start building the agent. We're going to click this next plus. So if you remember, there's the trigger. Now we're going to add in the AI agent itself. And very quickly, you can see when you click the plus after a trigger, this is a new list of options. And this is because you no longer need another trigger. And n8n built it. So once you add your trigger, it's not going to ask for your trigger again, but you can add more down here. So if you want to swap it out, more than happy to. But we want the AI node. And we want this AI agent node. So don't worry about this for now. We're going to click off and you're going to see that it's connected everything here. So we have our chat model, we have memory, which is optional, and then we have our tools. Really the chat model, the brain is what we talked about, and the tools are the two most sections here for us that are important. So very quickly, we already got our agent set up, or the general bones of the agent. We're now going to start linking our tools and our models together so it can actually work. So when it's red, in n8n, that just means it's not set up fully. So you'll see that there's a red star here. Every AI agent, because of its brain, needs a model. So in our case, we're going to use OpenAI. And again, this is all drag and drop, so you don't need to worry too much about coding or anything like that. But we've now added the brain. The biggest thing here is we need to link this up to our OpenAI account. And the way to do that, which I'm going to link a video right after this, we're just going to plug in all our tools and then we're going to set up the credentials so the agent works. But basically I have a credentials here, but you're going to need to click create new credentials and add in all your information. Again, this takes 2 minutes. I'm going to show you how to do that in the video right after this, but let's keep setting up the agent. So we have our brain linked up and now we're going to add our tools. And if you remember, we wanted 3 tools. They're all Gmail tools. So if you type in Gmail, there's this Gmail tool, consume the Gmail API. Before we click that and add that, I just want to let you guys know there's over 500 tools that you guys can link up. Airtable, Google Drive, Google Sheets, any tool. If you don't see it here, you can also link them up if it has an API. And I show you how to do that in the n8n Masterclass. But here, we are just going to use the Gmail tool. I just wanted to show you how many tools are available, even Google Ads. If you're running ads for people, you can pull in your Google Ads data, even Meta ads. There's just so much you can do with these agents. So we're going to keep it simple, and we are going to basically set up our first tool. So if I click out and just show you what this looks like, this is a send message in Gmail tool. And that's because it default the settings here, but we also need to set up our credentials. And all that just means is we need to give it access to our Gmail account. Again, in the next video, I'm going to show you how to do it. We're just going to set up our tools here first. So I always like to rename my tools. I always like to rename my tools. If you click this, it's going to take you back to the main agent, which is what you're linked up to. Send email. It says send message, but that means send email. Don't worry about your credentials for now. Tool description. This is just telling the agent what this tool is, but the title is good enough, and the tool description will automatically set. So you're not going to see that, but it's automatically set in the background. Resource, basically we want to do stuff with messages. We don't want to label emails. We don't want to create a draft. We don't want to do stuff with threads. We just want to get emails. We're going to start with the send email, and we're going to let the agent figure out who to send it to. So here, there's two parts here. There's fixed and expression. Expression allows you to drag in code. So here, if there's code here, you could drag this in. For now, we're going to leave this open, but we're going to click this purple icon. Let the model define this parameter, which is basically saying you're letting the agent figure out who to send this email to. Makes things super simple. The agent can use its brain to intuitively figure out, hey, if I want to send an email to this person, it will just pull their email. So then subject, we will let the agent also decide that. So when it's sending cold emails to people, it's going to set the subject itself. And we are also going to we can leave email type HTML for now, which just means we get some nice formatting. And then message also, which is the body of the email, we are going to let the agent define this as well. Now there's a couple other options here, which we don't need to go into today, but you can add attachments, you can add BCC, sender name. There's a bunch of things you can do. So if you click sender name, it's always going to log off as, let's say, AP. I'm going to tell it in the prompt of the AI agent that I want it to sign off as AP. So for now, you can leave this, you can take this off. So we set up our first tool. It's as simple as that. We're going to now just very quickly cruise through and set up our get emails. Oops, I'm misspelling Gmail. The reason why we set up this get emails tool is we want the agent to be able to get all the emails in our inbox. So we're going to let the agent automatically define what the message ID is. And this simplify just basically lets you return a simplified version of all the responses. For now, we're not worried about this. There's also a get threads or get many. So in our case, we just want to do get. You could do get many where it's going to reply. It's going to get all the emails. In this case, there's a limit here, but I just wanted to pull the most recent emails for me. But if you wanted to pull every single email sent from, let's say, your friend Sarah, you would want to give it the tool get many. For now, we're just going to keep it very simple and just have it get. We're going to let the agent define which emails to get. And we're going to let it simplify it, but actually, no, we're not going to let it simplify the email reply or the email that it's getting. I just want it to get the full email as possible. Okay, so we have the get email set up, which just lets our agent see all our historical emails. And lastly, we are going to do we have the get email, we have the send email, we want the reply email. So we want it to reply to a message. We'll let the agent figure out what the message ID is, which is basically which email to reply to. And we're going to let the agent figure out what the reply should be, which is the body, the message itself. So we're going to rename this to reply email, and you have your three tools set up. Great thing is for our output, since n8n built this pretty nicely, we don't have to send a specific output. So if I put chat, it's not going to really do anything. Once the agent's done, it's going to just reply back to us in the chat saying, hey, I've sent this email, or hey, I got this email. Do you want me to reply to this specific email? Which is pretty nice. We don't need to then specify the output. So the output is flexible. The trigger is not flexible, and the tools and the model isn't as flexible, but the output is pretty flexible. We've basically set up the agent. In the next couple, after the credentials video, we're going to show you the prompt. So we're going to get into the actual agent itself, and we're going to give it a prompt, which is this system message here. For now, the default is you're a helpful assistant. But what we're going to do is we're going to give it a prompt that basically says, hey, this is your purpose. These are the tools you have available to you. And this is what I'm hoping you can do for me. After we give it all those details, we can start chatting with the agent. You'll notice we set up this agent, and that was just me talking you through every single step. But if you know what you're doing, you could set this up in 5-6 minutes. Next, we are going to set up the logins for getting your models hooked up for OpenAI and logging into Gmail. And it really is going to take 2-3 minutes max. First thing you need to do is we're going to start with the OpenAI chat model. And it's super, super simple once you do it once. We are going to, for now, we'll rename it once we connect our model. But we're going to go here into the, double click into the brain, and basically click this drop down, credentials to connect with, and then create new credentials. When you're first starting out, this is not going to be here, or you're not going to have anything. So click create new credential, and you are just going to see this screen. And I'm going to move myself over because I'm taking up a lot of space. Looks pretty complicated. Really, you need an API key. You're going to be asking, where do I get an API key from? You're going to navigate over to openai.com. And if you have a GPT account, you can log in with that, or ChatGPT accounts. But go to openai.com, click login, and go to the API platform. Once you're in, and it's going to auto log me in because I've been in there, you can create an account for free, and you're going to want to navigate. Sorry, let me take a step back. Login, API platform. It's going to redirect you to this screen here. There's a lot of things going on here. There's a lot of tabs. These are all just a bunch of resource documents that OpenAI is giving you if you're building and coding. Because keep in mind, people do make agents with coding, but you don't need to anymore because these platforms make it so accessible to no-code build AI agents. So what you're going to do here is you're going to want to go to your dashboard. Click the dashboard, and really all we want to go to is API keys. And you'll see I have quite a few of API keys because I've been generating a bunch of just testing stuff. So this is a test account. You see it's personal building, but been testing and building these things. So since February, we've been playing around. So we, for now, want to create a new secret key. So click this, you're going to get a pop-up, and you can name it something. I'm going to name it testing. I'm going to name it email agent. Once you set this up once, you don't need to set this up again. So I'm setting this up for the email agent, but if you want to use this for all agents you build, just call it something specific then, general testing, for example. And you could just create different projects, which is pretty cool, but you're going to want to create secret key, and mine's going to flash on the screen, but I'm going to delete it after this just so you guys can't charge to my own account. But click copy and save this somewhere. This is not accessible again, and they say that very clearly. Please save your secret key in a safe place since you won't be able to view it again. This is for security purposes. In case somebody logs in and hacks your account, they can never steal your API key and charge you a bunch of money. I'm going to save mine offline for the purpose of this example. So mine's saved in a safe spot, and then click done once you feel like you've saved it. Just if you do create done and you didn't save it properly, you can always delete it or create a new secret key. There's no consequence of creating a bunch if you keep forgetting. So now that we have that secret key, just gets pasted into this API key. And it's as simple as that. You're going to want to rename this. So I'm going to call this testing OpenAI login. Click save, and it should turn green if it's correct. There we go. Connection tested successfully. So all this is validation to say that you have correctly connected your OpenAI account. And that took 4 minutes, but that was with me rambling a bunch. If you kind of cruise through this, it could take you a minute, 2 minutes, depending on if you have your account set up. So that was the OpenAI credentials. We're next going to show the Gmail credentials. So this is all set up. I'm going to rename my model node to GPT 4.1, because once you have this all set up, and you'll notice I click the drop down, your credentials are now saved here. You can pick what model you want to use, and you get access to every single OpenAI model that's currently accessible. For now, I'm going to use 4.1, and you can use the mini models. Personally, 4.0 mini is pretty cheap, so if you're worried about spending too much, it's a really good model to use. I like 4.1 for general purpose. It's not super expensive, but if you want a cheaper version, you have the mini version as well. But 4.1 is what I'm going to use for this purpose. Feel free to change it based off your needs. And the next thing we're going to set up is our Gmail node, it's API keys. And you'll see I have quite a few of API keys because I've been generating a bunch of just testing stuff. So this is a test account. You see it's personal building, but been testing and building these things. So since February, we've been playing around. So we, for now, want to create a new secret key. So click this, you're going to get a pop-up, and you can name it something. I'm going to name it testing I'm gonna name it email agent. Once you set this up once, you don't need to set this up again. So I'm setting this up for the email agent, but if you wanna use this for all agents you build, just call it something specific then, general testing, for example. And you could just create different projects, which is pretty cool, but you're gonna wanna create secret key, and mine's gonna flash on the screen, but I'm gonna delete it after this, just so you guys can't charge to my own account, but click copy and save this somewhere. This is not accessible again, and they say that very clearly. Please save your secret key in a safe place since you won't be able to view it again. This is for security purposes. In case somebody logs in and hacks your account, they can never steal your API key and charge you a bunch of money. I'm gonna save mine offline for the purpose of this example. So mine's saved in a safe spot, and then click done once you feel like you've saved it. Just if you do create done and you didn't save it properly, you can always delete it or create a new secret key. There's no consequence of creating a bunch if you keep forgetting. So now that we have that secret key, just gets pasted into this API key. And it's as simple as that. You're gonna wanna rename this. So I'm gonna call this testing OpenAI login. Click save, and it should turn green if it's correct. There we go. Connection tested successfully. So all this is validation to say that you have correctly connected your OpenAI account. And that took 4 minutes, but that was with me rambling a bunch. If you kind of cruise through this, it could take you a minute, 2 minutes, depending on if you have your account set up. So that was the OpenAI credentials. We're next going to show the Gmail credentials. So this is all set up. I'm going to rename my model node to GPT 4.1, because once you have this all set up, and you'll notice I click the dropdown, your credentials are now saved here. You can pick what model you want to use, and you get access to every single OpenAI model that's currently accessible. For now, I'm going to use 4.1, and you can use the mini models. Personally, 4.0 mini is pretty cheap, so if you're worried about spending too much, it's a really good model to use. I like 4.1 for general purpose. It's not super expensive, but if you want a cheaper version, you have the mini version as well. But 4.1 is what I'm going to use for this purpose. Feel free to change it based off your needs. And the next thing we're going to set up is our Gmail node. So click create new credential, and you're going to get pretty much the same screen you saw before. This one just looks a little different. Now, if you click in sign in with Google, and you don't do the steps that I'm about to tell you to do, it's going to say error. So we're going to have to go to something called the Google Cloud Console, which is completely free. Type in Google Cloud Console in your search bar, and the first thing will pop up is this. And if you haven't used this before, it might ask you to answer just a couple questions, but I have a bunch of emails here. I want it only for one specific email. Once you have the right Google account selected within the Google Cloud Console, you can pretty much start getting set up. Once you have that all set up, select a project, and then go to new project here. And I think you get a limit of 15. You don't need 15, you probably need 1 or 2. But I'm going to call this the live personal Gmail agent. Organization really doesn't matter. I don't have one selected. And then press create. It's going to take a quick second to create the workspace for you, but once it's done, here it is. Just click select project. Okay, so you're in, and again, it looks more complicated than it actually is. What you're going to want to do is navigate to the search bar here and just type in Gmail. And all you're doing is you're enabling these APIs. Click on this, and you'll see this enable button, and you're going to want to click. Once it's enabled, it's going to take you to a new screen, and we're going to set up 3 things. Okay, perfect. So first thing we want to do is Google requires the OAuth 2 credentials, so we're going to go to the OAuth consent screen, and we're going to create that first. It's going to say get started, click get started, put in your app name, and this is basically Google likes to associate APIs with a specific app. We're not actually building an app, it's just how they organize their API keys. So we'll type in email agent app. The support email, your email that this is connected to will default pop up here. And then you're going to want to click next. Click external. Click next. Same email that you used before, I would use here. So I'm using our dummy email, buildingaiagents@gmail.com. And then click next. And then click I agree to the API services. And then click create. That's part 1 of 3 done. We're almost there, I swear, and then we can start chatting with our agent. Next thing we do is we want to click the three ribbons here, scroll to API and services, and click credentials. Click create credentials, and we want to do OAuth client ID. We want to select web application, and same thing, I'm going to call this my email agent client. And then we don't have to click anything else here. If you do, one thing, because they've been making updates, if you do have a URL here in your n8n account when you have this Gmail credentials popped up, copy that and put this in your authorized redirect URLs. Just copy and paste that in here. In my case, I think I'm on the latest version. It's not showing up, so they're not requiring you to do this. But if you do have a URL here, just copy and paste that in here and click add URL. If you don't, you can click create. And then you get your client ID and your client secret ID. I would copy this one and then just save it somewhere. In my case, I'll save it in an email right after this, but you're going to want to save this. Your client ID should be accessible, but if you want, just in case, save both. Then we're going to do one more thing. We're going to go here. We're going to go to the API keys, go to OAuth consent screen again, and then you're going to go into audience and click add user. Put in the same email address you've been putting in everywhere else, building AI agents at, building AI agents at gmail.com. Click save. Perfect. And you're ready to go. So you have added your user, your client secret is copied, saved away. Now what you can do is you can click on sign in with Google and it should let you connect your Gmail account. So before I do that, I'm just going to rename this to live workshop 8 email agent. We're going to click sign in with Google. Go to the email that you put in for everything, sign in with that. You're going to click all the checks. So in my case, I've done this before, so I've already given these permissions, but you're going to have another set of checks down here. There's 2 boxes. One that's going to click all the Gmail, basically send, delete, create, etc. Click that, and it should select all the boxes, and then press continue. And then if you've done everything correctly, you'll get the same green check mark that correct connection is successful. You now have everything set up for your AI agent. In the next video, we're going to create our prompt, and then we're going to start testing the agent. We're going to see it send emails, we're going to see it get emails, and see if we need to make any tweaks. Best part about building an agent is iteration. We didn't over-engineer this. We kept this pretty simple. As we build our prompt, we're going to want to refine it and just make it stronger and stronger. Okay, so all our credentials are set up, our AI agent's set up. We can now just start testing the agent. What we're going to do is first, we're going to start chatting with the agent before touching the prompt for the AI agent, just to show you that it's already smart. But then I'm going to show you if we add a prompt, we might be able to get the output even better. And then generally, when you have a bunch of tools and you have a very complicated ask, having a prompt is always recommended. n8n makes it super simple, so you don't necessarily need to have a prompt to just start getting going, but that's why I'm going to show you both. The rest of this video is going to show you the agent in work, it sending an email. So I already sent myself an email as a test. I'm going to show you a couple things. And I also am going to show you purposely built a bug into this agent and just show you how we're going to very quickly find that bug and test it out. To get started, always click save and let's open our chat. And since we started with a chat message, we can just start chatting with the agent in n8n. But if you hooked up your Slack, you hooked up your Telegram, any messaging service at the beginning, you could text your agent and you could still get the same output. So that's what makes it super, super cool. So if you want to see, link it up to your phone, Telegram, I can more than happy to show you guys how to do that. Just send a comment down below. I want to build whatever you guys want. Without me rambling, let's just start chatting with the agent. We're going to get an error message with this first chat because the get emails tool is not set up correctly. But all of this to show you, if you build your agent, start simple, test the tools, see if they work. If they don't work, modify it. What was the last email I received? Can't spell, of course. Let's press send. You're going to see the agent's already working, which is pretty fun to see. So you'll see already got an error. It says bad request. It'll also show you in red, hey, red usually means something's wrong, and it's going to tell you also what's wrong, which is even greater for figuring out what's wrong and what is working. Just to walk you through the steps, we sent a chat, which makes this row green. The chat went over to the agent, and then this agent turned green. So this agent got the message. It went immediately into its model, its brain. And the reason why it does that is it uses all the models to think. We can send it a message, but if it doesn't have any of these models, which is the secret sauce, it's not going to be able to do anything. So you'll see here it went here, and these are all dotted lines, not arrows, because they can call them as many times as they want undirectionally. Traditional automation is just linear. It goes down a path, and it's like a lot of if-then logic, whereas an AI agent kind of breaks that and turns that on its head. It can call these tools as many times as it wants in any kind of order. And that's the cool thing. Instead of going from here to here, this agent can go here as many times as it wants. With all of that aside, let's dig into the issue here. So it says, I need the specific message ID or more details to find your last email. Can you provide more context? Let's see why this is not correctly set up. So we can click in here, and what we're going to see here is, and this is, I purposely did this, is I have a get operation here. We really want a get many because we want it to see all our emails. What we're asking it to do is find the message ID in our email. But if it doesn't know what the message ID of the first email is, because again, these agents are dumb until you set them up correctly. Really, we want them to get all the emails. And maybe we only get 5 because we don't need 50 emails, but the last 5 emails that we probably haven't replied to would be really nice. Cool thing is you can add filters. So include spam, label, search, read status. So if I just wanted to return all the last unread emails, last 10 unread emails, this is a really nice tool. These filters and options allow you a lot of flexibility. You can access the attachment in the chat. For now, we're going to get rid of all of these since I've sent a test to myself. We're going to change this to get many. In this case, it's not asking for a message ID. It's just going to pull the emails, which is nice. And then we're only going to pull the last 5. I don't need it pulling 50. It's just a waste of time. And if I ask the same message now, what was the last email I received? It's going to pull the last 5 emails, and it should work. One thing I forgot to mention, always click save. Sometimes it doesn't save the step. So click save whenever you run the new workflow. But here you can see last email you sent or you received is from Akshay Patel at ap@orient.ai with the subject want to get lunch. And I sent this just so we can get some varying responses. Hey AP, I'm in town, want to get lunch at 12:30 today at Small Cheval, really good burger place. Best, Michael. Would you like to reply to this email? Yes. Reply back that let's do 1 p.m. Also, add a funny AI agent joke at the end of the email. Let's see what it does. So here you can see it's already worked. Now with the agent set up, we can just keep chatting with it and just doing a bunch of stuff. What I expect this to do is, again, it's going to get a green line back to the agent. It's going to go into the model first. And then it's going to, since it already has the email, it should just go to reply to email, or it's going to get the email again and it's going to reply again. So let's see what it does. Let's click send. It's thinking, went into the model. It's getting the email again. So it needs to get the email again. If we added memory, it's going to remember everything. And here, something's not working. Oh. Let's see. I've replied. So interesting thing, it had an issue the first time with this node, with the reply email node, but it ended up working, which is pretty interesting. So you can see here, and this is the logs, which is really cool to watch. We sent the message. So it tells it worked in 16 seconds, went to the agent, first went into the model, got the email, then went back into the model to think again, went to the reply tool, didn't work. Then went back to the brain again, then went back to the reply email again, did work this time, and then sent a reply back that it did, sent the email. This is a great thing about these agents. If it doesn't work the first time, it'll often try 2-3 times, and then it might actually figure out the request. And this is almost where you get a great example, this wasn't planned, of just the agent kind of thinking like a person. You try something, doesn't work, you go back and try it again. It might work again. And we're going to see the email, and I'm going to show you that it actually did send something, and it wasn't just like fake. So let me pull up the emails here. So this was sent 10 minutes ago. Hey, AP, I'm in town. It's the exact same email. Let's go to our sent box. And you can see just 1 minute ago. So this is live. Hey, Michael, 1 p.m. works great for me. See you. And I didn't tell it to reply to Michael. Again, it's coming from me, but Michael's signed off. So the agent is intelligently figuring out that somebody named Michael is actually sending the email. So it's saying, hey, Michael, 1 p.m. works great for me. See you at Small Cheval. By the way, and this is the joke, have you heard the one about the AI agent who went on a diet? Every time it tried to count calories, it got stuck in a loop. Not the best joke, but still pretty funny. And I didn't tell it to sign off as AP. Really cool that it sent all of this. It picked up Michael's name, put it in the joke like I asked, and we can keep chatting back and forth. It's a really great example of just showing the power of an AI agent. We set up the agent and we're already testing the agent. This was like a quick rundown with no prompt. What I'm going to show you in the last couple minutes here is adding a prompt to this AI agent and making it even smarter. So we're going to go into this AI agent, adding a system message. If you don't remember, I'm going to delete it here, and you're going to want to click system message, and that's just going to let you add a prompt in. I'm going to expand this so you can see it. All you want to do to expand it is click this. I think it's a little easier to work with. Quick crash course on creating a prompt. I always like to start off with purpose. And this hashtag is just basically markdown format. It's a weird text formatting thing. You're not going to see it on your end, but the agent sees it on their end. And you can think of these as like categories. So we're giving it a purpose category. You are a helpful email agent. Your goal is to get emails, send emails, and reply to emails. We can keep it as simple as that. Then what we're going to want to do is tell it the tools available. So we'll call it tools, and you can also add colons if you want to get fancier, but I like to add a dash, and this auto saves, so you can click out of this anytime. And I'm going to get the names of these tools. It's get emails, send email, reply email. And that's the name of our tools. So it's as simple as that. So we're going to tell it you have the get emails, put a colon there, send email, and reply email. You can change these names if you want. The next thing you need to do, now that you told it what the tool name is, tell it what the tool does. This lets you get 5, and you could just say historical emails. I know in the tool itself, I marked 5. You don't need to tell the agent here. It's going to know it when it goes into the tool. I can only get 5 at a time. This lets you get historical emails in my inbox. The send email tool, this lets you send emails. Send new emails. And then the reply email, this lets you reply to emails. Let's put send replies to emails. Really simple there. And then what we're going to do is output. This is optional in our case, but you will get a chat request. Take that request and use the tools to handle the request. Last thing I'm going to tell it to do also is reply always with, just give it quotes so it knows what to say. Have a great day. So let's see, we're going to send another email reply. This is all saved. And what we're going to do is we're going to save this again. Reply back to that email for lunch and say, can we do 1:30 p.m. instead? Let's see what it does. I haven't tested this example. We're going to see if it actually can reply back, but it should reply with that new request that we're asking it to do. Again, I had an issue going into the email tool. I'm not sure why. It had a second issue. Let's see if it sent the email. I have some doubts because, oh no, it did. It didn't give me the best reply back, so maybe we'll fix that in the prompt. It just said, have a great day, AP. I think it took this literal. See, this is a great example of you got to tell the agent, reply to emails with, reply always to emails with have a great day. Send me a chat back that the task is done and a little summary. So that should fix it. We're going to do it again, but I want to show you the email it sent. So it did actually send the email. Hey, Michael, actually, can we do 1:30 p.m. instead? Let me know if that works. Thanks, AP. And this was adding in more than I asked. Again, this is what makes the AI agent pretty fun to use and play around with, is it goes usually above and beyond. So let's save that and let's ask it the same thing again, but let's say 2 p.m. I am hoping it replies to the email correctly now that I've clarified the prompt. Oops, actually, reply back again to that email for lunch. Say, can we do 2 p.m. instead? let's see this thing work. So got the email using its brain, went to the reply email. This time it worked just fine. So it replied to the email. I replied back, and now it actually gave a proper response. I've replied back to the email about lunch and asked if 2 p.m. would work. Instead, let me know if you need any other follow-ups. Summary, and I asked it for a summary. Sent an email reply to Michael suggesting to move the lunch to 2 p.m. and signed off with "Have a great day, AP." This time it's not telling me "Have a great day" because I was way too literal in the prompt. You got to treat this like an employee. If you tell it to do something, it may do it exactly to the T. Let's go back to the email. Let's refresh it. Hey, Michael, actually, can we do 2 p.m. instead? Let me know if that works for you. Have a great day, AP. So done. Our email agent is set up, or a very basic version of an email agent. It's replying to emails. It's taking literal requests. And I hope that shows you the power of a prompt. You can then dial in your requests more. So instead of the agent running wild, you really can get more specific, more precise. And this is really what, if you're starting to build agents for yourself or clients, this is where kind of the secret sauce is, the prompts. Testing the prompts, iterating the prompts, and then setting up just checks that make sure it's working correctly. But I hope that gives you a really good crash course. I'd love to hear about you building your first agent. So if you do build your first agent, head over to school. I would love to see you post in the community, go to your wins, and just give me a little post about, hey, got my first agent up and running. This is what I did. Here's the guide I followed. Really excited to see what you guys build. I do give you the template. You can steal it, copy it yourself, and then just play around with it. So that should show you how to build an agent in under 30 minutes. If you guys have any questions, reply in the comments. Thank you.